Right, what we have here is undeniably a piece of history, I would say. This is a bottle of whiskey, we hope, Linkwood, distilled 1898 and bottled, we think, in the perhaps late 1920s. Linkwood for many, many years has been obviously an active single malt distillery up in Speyside, up in the Glens of Scotland, but the vast majority of their output has gone into blended whiskies. So expressions that have been kept as a single malt have been very limited to the flora and fauna range, Linkwood. Other than that, very, very hard to track down. So to be honest, finding any single malt expression of Linkwood is an achievement. One from the 19th century is frankly ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
Absolutely mad. So this one, as we say, bottled 1920s, we think. So it's been in this bottle for over a century.
It's a bottle we picked up at auction. It has been carbon dated. We're fairly confident that it is the age that it says it is. Whether or not the liquid is Linkwood is debatable, but we have no reason to believe it's not. But we thought we'd open it up and find out, see what we like about it.
What an interesting idea. There's always a grave problem with these old bottles that they might have been refilled. But if you've done the carbon dating, and it's clearly been refilled with liquid, which was made before 1955 approximately. So it'll be very, very interesting.
We hope it's authentic. We hope it was distilled 1898. When we taste it, I don't know if we'll be able to tell if that's true or not. But yeah, I think I've tried Linkwood once or twice. Have you got much?
From the flora and fauna range, nothing else.
Nothing else.
No.
So I say give it a try and see.
Yeah.
See what we think. But yeah, a bit of a step into the unknown.
I think things will have changed in production quite a lot.
Yes, I think you might be right there, Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's open up and see what we can do.
Great.
So opening these are a bit of a nightmare. I can feel the cork disintegrating already. I'm not sure how much of this is gonna. It's like pulling out porridge. This is, oh, it's not too bad actually. It's a bit of a mess, but I think
did we get the whole thing?
Looks like it, I hope.
Yeah.
Let's clear away some of this excess wax.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the best 1898 Linkwood I've ever opened, actually. So yeah, I did a good job there. Right, let's...
Maybe the last.
Maybe, yeah, almost certainly the last. But I think we should pour this. Hopefully it's the colour of whiskey, hopefully it smells like whiskey. And then give it a taste, why not? Right, let's see what we've got.
Promising.
No, that is a good sign. God. Right then, what should we do first? Should we give it a test the alcohol strength?
Yeah, I think we should, yes.
I think that's probably the obvious thing to do.
I'll grab my gadget.
Yeah, let's grab a gadget. Right, Jack, so tell us about this machine and what it's doing.
So this is a little density meter, and it draws up a sample of the liquid into a gadget in here, which is an oscillating tube of glass, and it vibrates. It measures the density of the liquid, measures the temperature of the liquid, and then tells you what the alcohol percentage is. Cool.
So for this one here, Linkwood, 1920s, there were some rules perhaps at that stage. I'd be surprised if there was a strength stated. I don't think there is, but we would expect it to be around 40% at least, hopefully.
Pleasantly surprised to find it's 40.7.
40.7, I'll accept that. That's pretty good going. So a reassuring start so far. It's the right colour, it's the right strength.
Now, in these days, the favoured, it just says wood matured, and of course they could, nowadays it's got to be oak matured, but that only came in 1990, I think. It was just wood matured, but oak was of course the favoured wood. This looks to me like European oak. It's got this dark colour, European oak refill probably. So this is nice mild nose. A little bit of prickle. It's still quite lively actually. Linkwood, of course, is Speyside whiskey, and you notice that it was called Linkwood Glenlivet, and there's something like 35 distilleries attached the word Glenlivet because it had this cachet. It's long been ranked top class by blenders. The unusual to see a single malt bottling from that time, because all the make went for blending.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I often get almonds, or I get from old whiskies like this. There was a sandalwood and a sort of nutty, and then there's a sort of toffee note, which makes me think it might be, rather than European, it might be American oak, the cask.
Yeah.
Do you get that? It's like tablet.
Yeah, like school bake fairs, and yeah. For international viewers, tablet is a
hard toffee, great Scottish thing.
Delight of Scottish cuisine and culture. We encourage you all to give it a go.
If it is what it says it is, we'd expect it to be in casks for at least 20 years. There is a fair bit of colour to, quite a nice colour actually, so I'd say it looks like a 20-something-year-old single malt.
Yeah.
On the nose it has got a fair bit of flavour, fair bit of oomph to it. This sort of period in history, would it have been ex-bourbon cask they're using?
It's hard to say. I would imagine it would have been bourbon and sherry at this point.
Yeah.
It does smell like a bit of both. There is a little bit of jammy fruit notes coming in, which I would imagine would be from a sherry cask.
Yep. I mean, with this whiskey being distilled at Linkwood, obviously up in Speyside, it is, you know, typical characteristics are a fruity, sweeter flavour profile. I would say this is very in fitting with that. I think if we were nosing this and we were starting to get smoky or coastal or, you know, these sorts of flavours, might start to get a bit worried. But I'd say on the nose there's enough depth that I'm confident that it is a single malt and it's not a blend. It's not been refilled with something else.
Yeah, and it definitely smells like something that you would expect from Speyside. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is still lively. I always like to have a drink of water before tasting straight, just to rinse my palate. So taste. Pleasant texture, sweet start, as you'd expect from Speyside. Very slight acidity at the sides, a bit of spice in the finish. Medium length finish.
Cheers, Slange.
Now that tastes completely different to what the nose is. Far drier.
Yep, it's quite, I think, almost tannic for me. It's looking like almost like a leatheriness to it.
Yeah.
Are you 100% content that it's a single malt Scotch?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think it's undergone any deterioration from being in the bottle for so long. It's, I'd say it was on par with a 20-year-old Speyside whiskey that you would drink fresh from the bottle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Do you think it has to do with the wax closure all these years?
No, it seems to have done well for it.
Yeah, I think the fill level wasn't great. It was maybe sort of mid-shoulder, so perhaps slight evaporation or leakage over the last century.
The cork was saturated as well. So
the cork was in a terrible state.
Yeah.
But no, I'd say the condition of the liquid seems good. You do try some older bottles, and it's, you know, it's in a bad way. It's falling apart. But no, this is it's nicely constructed.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Very drinkable, very smooth, and yeah. Would you say it's a surprise? I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what my expectations were.
I'd expected the worst.
Okay.
So I've come out surprised.
But a very pleasant whiskey.
Yeah, and you know,
and a great privilege to taste it. It's something so old.
It's fantastic to see bottles like this getting opened, because so often they're passed from pillar to post as collectible items, and you know, the only way to know what it's like is to taste it. So yeah, really excited to have had an opportunity to taste it.
But it's a fascinating whiskey. It's lovely to taste these little things. So,
and at the end of the day, I'm sure there are, or I know for a fact there are still whiskies out there being made today that are, if you like, objectively superior, but in terms of an experience, that's it's the first time for me, right?
Can't beat it.
Excellent.
For a bottle like this, it's very easy to get caught up in the romance of it and think, this was produced during the time of the Titanic and all this sort of stuff.
Sat in casks through the First World War, so
yeah,
from Queen Victoria.
It could tell some stunning stories, I'm sure, this liquid. Yeah, no, it's a lovely drop, and yeah, so we're very fortunate to try something from this era.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cheers.